Hello friends, welcome once again to another class in Basic Concepts in Gene Expression. My name is Benson Abraham, Assistant Professor, Department of Botany, Kamla Nehru Mahavidyalaya, Nagpur. This is our third class and today we are going to discuss on the topic transcription in eukaryotes. Now as we have discussed transcription in prokaryotes, in eukaryotes also it consists of three stages, that is initiation, elongation and termination. Let us try to understand the first stage, initiation. Now while studying the initiation, we will look on both the initiation in all the three type of RNA polymerases, that is RNA polymerase 1, 2 and 3. But the elongation and termination event for in this module we will discuss for RNA polymerase 2 only, since the events taking place are similar in all the three type of polymerases. In bacterial cells, the holoenzyme recognizes and binds directly to the sequences promoter. So recall from our last class we have studied about the core RNA polymerase as well as holo RNA polymerase. What was the difference? The holo RNA polymerase is able to recognize the DNA only at promoter region. But in eukaryotes, this type of system will not help. Why? Because the RNA polymerase will not be able to recognize the DNA, since it is highly in the ordered structure of nucleosomes. It is wrapped around the histones. Now let us try to understand the core promoter for RNA polymerase 2. RNA polymerase 2 core promoter consists of two types of elements, that is BRE element, which is associated with the Tata box, and a DPE element which is associated with DCE. Now what are these two elements? For mRNA promoter, either one of these two elements are required, but not both. Now let us try to understand the first element, BRE. It stands for transition factor 2B recognition element. TBP stands for Tata binding protein. DPE is the downstream promoter element and DCE is the downstream core element. So DPE together with DCE are recognized by transition factor 2D. Now as you can see here, the DCE elements are shown more than once. That is, depending upon the need of the cell, the DCE elements can be either 1, 2 or 3 or more, which helps in the effective recognition of the promoter. It consists of, both these elements will consist of a INR element. This INR element stands for initiator element, and this is the place where the transcription of mRNA will begin. So this was the core promoter for RNA polymerase 2. Now let us take a look on how this promoter is recognized by the general transcription factor. Now the general transcription factor consists of different transcription factors, and it is represented as transcription factor 2A, TF2B, EFH, etc. Now the TBP and TAF, they form the TF2D transcription factor. TBP stands is the subunit of this TF2D, and it helps in the recognition of Tata box, whereas TAFs are all other subunits that are associated with the TF2D. Now let us take a look on the events that takes place during initiation. First, the TF2D will recognize the data box, and the TBP will bend this data box, that is it attaches to the minor groove of this data box, and then it distorts its structure so that the bases are now exposed. This is recognized by two other transition factors known as transition factor 2A and transition factor 2B. This comes and binds to this complex. Once this complex is formed, it is the signal for transition it is the signal for RNA polymerase 2 to come and bind. RNA polymerase 2 is escorted with the help of transition factor 2F. Together they occupy this place and form the closed complex. What is the next stage? Next stage is the formation of open complex. For open complex formation, two other transition factors come into play. They are TF2E and TF2H. They come and bind. They help in the conformational change and also in the melting of this promoter region or the DNA. Once melting has taken place, it gives a signal, and the C-terminal tail of the RNA polymerase is phosphorylated at different regions. We will discuss on this phosphorylation in our next slide. And then it signals to turn on the transcription and move on to the elongation phase. Now we will discuss on how transition factors helps in the recognition by RNA polymerase 1. Now the RNA polymerase 1 mostly involves in the transcription of rRNA genes. It consists of a core promoter and an upstream core element. Now this upstream core element is present about 100 to 150 base pairs upstream of this core promoter, and it is associated with two boxes A and B, which is recognized by UBF factor. And what is UBF? It simply stands for UCE binding factor. So these UCE binding factors will come and occupy its space. Now, in order for transition to begin, this SL1 protein has to come and bind to the core promoter. Only then and only RNA polymerase 1 will recognize this core promoter. In order for SL1 to bind the core promoter, first UBF has to occupy its space. If UBF is not bound over here, SL1 cannot recognize the core promoter. If UBF is present, SL1 can come and occupy the core promoter region. This helps in the transition of rRNA by RNA polymerase 1. Initiation of tRNAs, that is RNA polymerase 3 promoter region. It consists of two boxes that is present downstream of the gene. Now it consists of two boxes, box A and box B, which is recognized by TF3C. Now TF3C and TF3B complex together helps in the transcription of tRNA genes by RNA polymerase 3. Now coming back to our topic, and this takes place mostly for mRNA genes. Now depending upon the need of the cell, sometimes you need different type of proteins to be expressed in the cell. Sometimes more number of proteins is required. Sometimes in certain cells certain proteins has to be silenced. So for example, if you see a muscle and a liver cell, there are different sets of proteins that is expressed in the muscles and different sets of proteins expressed in your liver cells, but both has the same DNA. how this regulation takes place. This regulation takes place with the help of mediator complex. Now, this mediator complex is present in certain parts of the chromosome. As you can see, this is the DNA that is having a sequences that is associated with the activator protein. Now, these sequences are binding with an activator proteins. What does this activator do? It will help the recognition of mediator complex, and mediator complex will ultimately bind to this promoter region, that is wherever the gene of interest that you want to transcribe more will have to come and associate with the mediator complex, and then its translation will take place at a faster rate. Now, when it was discovered, it was for an activator, and hence the name activator and all was given. But this activator are of two types. Either you there are two types of activators, enhancers and silencers. Either you activate a particular gene, or certain genes are or certain regions are such that they silences, they do the reverse process, they silences a certain set of genes. So the activators are of two types, enhancers and silencers. As you can see, there is a gap over here. What happens is that the DNA has to loop and come around this area. So whichever DNA will come around this area will express depending upon enhancers and silencers. Okay. So next is the elongation and termination. So for elongation to take place, it has to undergo the following processes, that is growing of the RNA chain, nucleosome remodeling. Remember that in eukaryotes there is a nucleosome model, that is the DNA is wrapped around the histones. So you have to remove the histones before the elongation event to takes place. Then addition of 5' cap. Now the mRNA that is being synthesized, it has to travel to the cytoplasm. That is, it requires certain times for translation to begin. In order to protect itself from the degrading enzymes, you have to protect its 5'N. This is done by 5' capping, and the 3' tail is protected by poly A tail. The 3'N is protected by poly A tail. And then as you know, in eukaryotes we have split genes. Split genes means each gene, in between these genes there are certain unwanted regions, that is introns are present, and you have to remove these introns and join the exons for the mRNA to form a mature mRNA, and this mature mRNA does not contain any unwanted regions, and it is translated into proteins, and that is going to take place in the cytoplasm. Okay. Then RNA processing enzymes. So as we have discussed this earlier in our pre-initiation time, that time there was no phosphorylation group attached to the RNA polymerase CTD tail, C-terminal domain tail. So when no phosphate group is attached over this tail region, now first of all let me try to explain what is this tail made up of. This tail is made up of amino acids which are specific, that is, it is made up of n number of repeats of these 7 amino acids, that is tyrosine, serine, proline, threonine, serine, chlorine, serine. So these 7 amino acids, they are repeated n number of times. Now when there is no phosphorylation group present over it, it signals this RNA polymerase that the initiation event is yet to take place, that is, it is in the pre-initiation stage. As soon as a phosphate group attached to the 5th serine residue, that is, there will be n number of times these residues will be present n number of times, and then if 5th serine residue is phosphorylated, 8 signals for promoter escape as well as for capping. Okay, so what will happen as soon as this phosphorylation takes place, it will recruit a capping enzyme over here, and as soon as this RNA will come out, it will load the capping enzyme, and then it not only helps in promoter escape but also in the recruitment of capping. Now once this event has taken place, the phosphate from the fifth serine residue is removed, and then it is again phosphorylated into the second serine residue. When this takes place, it helps in the loading of the splicing machinery. That is, it will know that the initiation has taken place and now elongation phase is going on, and during elongation you have to recruit the splicing machinery over wherever the introns are present. So it will do the recruit the splicing machinery during the elongation phase, and then once it reaches a termination sequence, there is again a change in the kind of phosphorylation in these serine residues, and it will signal the addition of two other subunits that will add the poly A tail and help in the disassembly of RNA polymerase from the DNA. So hope you have understood this part. Okay, so the CTD tails, it regulates the RNA polymerase activity. How? If the phosphorylation group is taking place in this manner, it will help in the recruitment of capping enzyme. If this phosphorylation is in this manner, it will help in the loading of splicing machinery over this growing RNA chain. And if the third one is not shown, but if a different combination of phosphorylation group is present, it will help in the loading of the termination that is, it will help in the termination of this RNA processing. Okay, then next step is the growing of the RNA chain. This is same as we have discussed with the bacteria, so there is nothing more. The same translocation events takes place from 0 plus 1, and then and if a mistake is done, it will revert back. So the same process is taking place, so we will not discuss this over here. Then now as soon as the RNA polymerase is moving in this region, it will encounter with the nucleosomes. Now how these nucleosomes are made up of? These nucleosomes are made up of histone complexes. There are 8 histone subunits which are made up of 4 subunits. Now these 4 subunits are arranged in a very peculiar manner. This H3 and H4 forms a tetramer. That is, there are 2 H3 and 2 H4 together, they form a tetramer, and 1 H2A and 1 H2B will form a dimer. So there will be 2 dimers and 1 tetramer. So as you can see here, this is the tetramer and these are the dimers. Okay, so so in nucleosome remodeling, when the scientists were performing experiments, what they found out that when the same process is taking place in vitro, this process takes several hours to complete. One translation event to takes place, it will take more than a day to happen. But in cells, this happens in in certain minutes. Within minutes, you get your mRNA. So how does this takes place so fast? So in order for this to take place fast, there has to be certain mechanism that will disassemble these nucleosomes before this RNA polymerase. So they studied various nucleosome remodeling factors, and 2 of the factors are discussed here. There are many, but 2 will be discussed here. One is the SPT16 and the other is the SSRP1. What does this do? This comes and binds to the tetramer complex, and this recognizes the dimer complex. Once it recognizes the dimer complex, it's very swiftly removes one of the dimer. Now what happens? This complex is not that strong as it was before. The RNA polymerase will come, will dislodge this, and it will do the transcription event. Now once this it has moved ahead, what happens behind is that these two proteins with the help of spt6 will again help in the reformation of this nucleosome behind. So as RNA polymerase is moving forward, it will do the nucleosome remodeling, and behind it will reform the nucleosome once again. Then next step is the addition of phi dash cap. Now as we have discussed that the phi dash capping was taking place during elongation. Now how does this takes place? So in order to protect this phi dash end, the one thing it does is that it usually hides its phi dash end. How does it hide its phi dash end? So it takes a guanine residue, makes a phosphodiester bond among the phi dash ends of the two residues. Okay, so this is how this with the help of guanylyl transferase, this guanine is attached to the phi dash end of the growing RNA chain. Now in order to protect itself from degrading by other enzymes, it usually methylates at the 7th position of the guanine. So this event is known as addition of phi dash end or phi dash capping. Thus it helps in the protection of its phi dash end. Then next is polyadenylation and termination. So this is the event that is going to take place during termination. So for termination there are two events that is going to take place. That is, first you have to break this RNA chain, and then you have to add poly A tail around it, and second, after this break has taken place, still the RNA polymerase is moving ahead. So how to prevent that to happen? So that can be prevented with the help of a another factor known as HXM2 or RAT1, that helps in the dislodging of this RNA polymerase from the DNA. Okay, so we will discuss the first step. So as soon as the RNA polymerase reads a termination sequence, its phosphate groups changes in the CTD tail, and it now, instead of binding to the splicing enzymes, it binds to two other factors known as CSTF and CPSF. Now CSTF, it's a type of endonuclease. It cleaves this RNA polymerase, it cleaves this RNA chain from here behind this poly A signal, and then it is removed from this complex. Now what you get, we have the phi dash cap and a 3' N with this CSPF factor. This is recognized by another polymerase known as PAP or poly A polymerase. Now it is a template independent polymerase. It will come, bind towards the 3' N, and randomly it will add many A sequences, approximately around 200 A sequences. Now in order to protect its poly A tail, there is one more additional poly A binding protein that helps in the protection of this poly A tail. So you get your mature mRNA, that is, you have the phi dash cap, you have removed the introns, and then you have a poly A tail. Now let us take a look on what is happening over here. So once this initially what was taking place, initially this it had a phi dash cap. Okay, now after the cut, that after this cut, the remaining RNA does not have a cap. So this is recognized by another factor known as RAT-HXM2 protein. It will come degraded, and then as soon as it reaches and touches the RNA polymerase 2, it will dislodge this assembly and the termination event will take place. So sometimes it will takes place with the help of this, or certain other factors will help in the either stem loop, or certain other factors will be able to terminate this event. So hope that you have understood this class. Thank you. In our next class we will discuss on uh, another very important part of gene expression, that is translation. If you like my class, please like, share and subscribe. Till then.